Family disowned me 8 years ago for what I did to my twin. After I discovered he's been sleeping with my girlfriend, now invites me to Xmas out of the blue. Then I learned why. Hey Reddit. So my family completely cut me off 8 years ago because I exposed my twin brother for sleeping with my girlfriend. Now they're blowing up my phone begging me to come to Christmas dinner. Took me a while to figure out why. Spoiler alert, it wasn't because they missed me. I'm Jake, 31 now. My twin brother is Ethan. Growing up, we looked identical, but that's where the similarities ended. I was the responsible one. He was the charismatic one. I studied. He partied. I worked. He charmed his way through life. Our parents thought he walked on water while I was just there. The setup started back when we were 23. I'd been dating this girl Amanda for 3 years. Met her freshman year of college, and she was perfect. Smart, funny, ambitious. We had plans. Real plans. Moving to Portland together after graduation. Getting engaged. The whole future mapped out. I was working full-time at an engineering firm while finishing my degree at night. Exhausted constantly, but building something real. Amanda was finishing her marketing degree and working part-time at this boutique downtown. She'd come over to my apartment most nights. We'd cook dinner together, talk about our days. Normal couple stuff. The kind of relationship where you just know this is it, you know. Ethan was doing his usual thing. No real job, living with our parents rent-free, claiming he was figuring himself out while working occasional bartending gigs. He'd always been good at talking his way into and out of situations. Parents ate it up. Mom would actually defend his unemployment by saying he was finding his passion, while I was just settling for stability. That year, Amanda started mentioning Ethan more. At first, it didn't bother me. They'd run into each other at family dinners. She'd mention funny things he said. Whatever. He was my brother. She was my girlfriend. Of course they'd interact. But then it got weird. She'd bring him up constantly. Ethan said this about her major. Ethan recommended this show. Ethan thinks she should apply to this company. I figured maybe she just wanted to bond with my family since we were getting serious. The reality hit me on a random Tuesday in March. I came home early from work. My supervisor had sent everyone home because the office AC died, and it was getting unbearable inside. I texted Amanda to see if she wanted to grab lunch, but she didn't respond. Figured she was busy at the boutique. When I got to my apartment, her car was in the parking lot. Weird, since she said she had a shift that day. I walked up the stairs to my second-floor unit, already thinking maybe she'd gotten sick and decided to rest at my place. The door was unlocked, also weird. Amanda was paranoid about locking doors. I walked in and heard sounds from my bedroom. Not sick sounds. The kind of sounds that make your stomach drop into your shoes. I stood there for probably 10 seconds trying to convince myself I was wrong. That maybe she was watching something on her phone. That there was any explanation other than the obvious one. Then I heard Ethan laugh. That specific laugh he does when he thinks he's being clever. I don't remember walking to the bedroom. Don't remember opening the door. But suddenly I was standing there, looking at my girlfriend and my twin brother in my bed. In my actual bed. The bed I'd bought with money from my first engineering bonus. Amanda screamed and grabbed the sheets. Ethan just froze, this guilty look spreading across his face like spilled water. Nobody said anything for maybe 30 seconds. Just this horrible silence where we all stared at each other. Finally, I said, "How long?" Amanda started crying. "Jake, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to—" "How long?" Ethan sat up. "Bro, listen, we didn't plan this. It just happened. Answer the question." He looked at Amanda. She looked at the floor. Nobody wanted to say it. 6 months. Amanda finally whispered. 6 months. Half a year. While I was working 60-hour weeks trying to build our future, they'd been doing this behind my back, in my apartment, probably on days I was at work or class. I remember feeling completely calm. That weird calm you get when something so massive happens that your brain just shuts down the emotion part to deal with logistics. "Get out," I said. "Both of you. Now." Amanda started apologizing again. Ethan actually had the nerve to say we should talk about this like adults. I repeated myself. "Get out." They left. I sat on my couch for probably 3 hours, just staring at the wall. Didn't cry, didn't yell, didn't break anything. Just sat there processing the fact that the two people I trusted most in the world had spent 6 months lying to my face. Around 9 p.m., my phone started blowing up. Text after text after text. First from Amanda, "Please let me explain. I never meant to hurt you. I was confused about my feelings, and Ethan was there and it just happened. I still care about you." Then from Ethan, "Bro, I know you're mad, but you need to understand. We didn't want to hurt you. We tried to fight it, but the connection between us was too strong. These things happen. That last line made me want to throw my phone through a window. These things happen. Like they'd accidentally bumped into each other and fallen into bed. Like 6 months of deliberate lying was just some cosmic accident nobody could have prevented. I didn't respond to either of them. Instead, I called my parents. Figured they should know what their golden boy had done. "Hey, sweetie," Mom answered. "What's up?" "I need to tell you something. Ethan's been sleeping with Amanda for the past 6 months." Silence. Then, "What?" I laid it out. Everything. Finding them in my apartment, the 6 months of lying, all of it. More silence. Then Dad got on the phone. "Now, son, I'm sure there's been some kind of misunderstanding. Have you talked to Ethan about this?" "Talk to him. I walked in on them in my bed, Dad." "Well, people make mistakes. Young people especially. I'm sure if you all sit down and discuss this maturely." "Are you serious right now?" "I'm saying that family is important. More important than some girl. You and Ethan need to work this out." "Work this out?" "He betrayed me for 6 months. Don't be dramatic, Jake. These things happen in relationships. The mature thing to do is forgive and move forward." I hung up, sat there staring at my phone. My dad had just told me to get over my brother sleeping with my girlfriend, because family is important. That night, I barely slept. Kept replaying everything in my head. Every time Amanda had canceled plans. Every time Ethan had stopped by when I wasn't home. Every family dinner where they'd sat across from me, knowing what they were doing. The next day, I changed my locks. Packed up everything Amanda had left at my place into a box. Drove to her apartment and left it outside her door with a note that said, "Lose my number." Then I blocked both of them on everything. Phone, social media, email, complete radio silence. 2 days later, my mom called. "Jake, we need to talk about this situation with Ethan and Amanda." "There's nothing to talk about." "Yes, there is. You're not speaking to your brother. The family is very upset about this." "The family is upset? About Ethan sleeping with my girlfriend?" "About you refusing to forgive him. He made a mistake. You're being stubborn. A mistake is forgetting someone's birthday. This was 6 months of deliberate betrayal. Don't be so dramatic. Amanda wasn't even your wife. You're acting like this is some huge tragedy, when really it's just young people figuring out their feelings. Are you hearing yourself right now? I'm hearing a son who's putting his pride above his family. Ethan feels terrible about this. He's been very upset. You need to be the bigger person and forgive him, so we can all move past this." "Ethan feels terrible? Poor Ethan. Must be so hard for him." Your sarcasm isn't helping. We're having a family dinner this Sunday. You and Ethan need to work this out like adults. "I'm not coming." "Yes, you are. This family doesn't fall apart because of some girl. This family fell apart when my brother betrayed me, and my parents decided to take his side. Tell Ethan I hope it was worth it." I hung up. Blocked Mom's number too. Sunday came and went. I didn't go to the dinner. Instead, I spent the day looking at apartments in Portland. My lease was up in 2 months, and I'd already been planning to move there with Amanda. Now I'd just go alone. Monday morning, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I answered, thinking it might be work. It was Dad. He'd called from his office number. "Jake, your mother is beside herself. You missed family dinner. We need to resolve this." By resolve, you mean I need to pretend nothing happened? I mean you need to stop being selfish. Ethan is your twin brother. You shared a womb with him. That bond is more important than some temporary relationship with a girl you probably would have broken up with anyway. How did you figure that? Because you're young. First relationships rarely last. But family is forever. So I should just forget that he spent 6 months lying to me? I'm saying you need perspective. Yes, Ethan made a poor choice. But you making this into some family crisis is equally wrong. He's apologized. Amanda's apologized. The mature thing is to accept that and move forward. He hasn't apologized to me. Nobody has actually apologized to me. Because you won't talk to anyone. You're being a child about this. I'm being a child? I'm the only one acting like this was wrong. You know what your problem is, Jake? You've always been rigid. Always had to have everything your way. Life doesn't work like that. People mess up. You need to learn flexibility. And you need to learn that sleeping with your brother's girlfriend isn't a forgivable mess up. If you don't come to next Sunday's dinner and apologize to Ethan for creating this drama, you're no longer welcome at family events. Your mother and I have discussed this. We're not letting you tear this family apart with your stubbornness. The ultimatum hung in the air. Apologize to Ethan for being mad that he betrayed me, or get cut off. Then I guess I'm no longer welcome at family events. Jake, I hung up. This time I blocked Dad's work number too. For the next week, extended family started calling. Aunts, uncles, cousins. Everyone had the same message. I was being unreasonable. Ethan had made a mistake. I needed to forgive him. Family was more important than pride. Not a single person asked how I was doing. Not one person acknowledged that what Ethan did was wrong. It was all about how I needed to get over it for the sake of family unity. My Uncle Dave actually said, "Is this really worth destroying the family over? So your brother made a mistake. Big deal. You think you're perfect?" I tried explaining it wasn't about perfection. It was about trust and betrayal, and 6 months of lying. But nobody wanted to hear it. The final straw came 3 weeks after I'd found them. My grandmother called. "Jacob, I'm very disappointed in you. Your brother made a little mistake and you're punishing the entire family for it. This isn't how I raised your father to raise his children. Grandma, Ethan slept with my girlfriend for 6 months. So? She wasn't your wife. You weren't married. They're young people with feelings. You need to grow up and stop acting like a spoiled brat." A spoiled brat? For being upset about being betrayed? Yes. Spoiled brats make everything about themselves. Ethan and Amanda have real feelings for each other. They're talking about getting serious. But you're making it impossible with your tantrum. My stomach dropped. They're getting serious? Yes. They want to date properly, but they feel guilty because of you. You need to give them your blessing so everyone can move on. Give them my blessing. Yes. Be a man about this. Tell Ethan you forgive him and you're happy for him and Amanda. Then everyone can stop walking on eggshells. I hung up without responding. Sat there in my apartment, alone, realizing my entire family had chosen Ethan's comfort over acknowledging what he'd done to me. That night, I got a group text from my extended family. The whole crew. Parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents. The message was from Dad. "Family meeting Sunday at 2 p.m. Everyone must attend. Jake, this is your final chance to apologize to Ethan and make this right. If you don't show up, you're choosing to remove yourself from this family." I stared at that text for probably an hour. The words, "final chance to apologize," kept running through my head. Apologize. Like I'd done something wrong. I typed out a response. "I'm not apologizing for being hurt by betrayal. If accepting that betrayal is the price of being in this family, then I guess I'm out." Hit send. Then I left the group chat. Within minutes, individual texts started flooding in. Mom crying about how I was choosing pride over family. Dad saying I'd regret this decision for the rest of my life. Ethan saying I was being immature and he'd expected better from me. That last one made me laugh. Ethan had expected better from me. The guy who'd spent 6 months sleeping with my girlfriend expected me to be more mature about it. I blocked everyone, every single family member who'd sent a message. Then I sat there in the silence of my apartment, realizing I'd just lost my entire family because I refused to pretend betrayal was acceptable. The next day, I called my boss and asked about the Portland office. They'd been trying to get me to transfer for months. "When can you start?" he asked. "As soon as possible." 2 weeks later, I packed everything I owned into a U-Haul and drove to Portland. Didn't tell anyone I was leaving. Didn't say goodbye. Just left. Started my new job at an engineering firm that specialized in renewable energy systems. Found a decent one-bedroom apartment in the Pearl District with exposed brick and huge windows. Started building a completely new life from scratch. The first few months were brutal. I'd wake up sometimes forgetting what happened, reaching for my phone to call Mom before remembering. Work became my escape. Within 6 months, I got promoted to senior engineer. Within a year, I was leading my own team. I started hitting the gym every morning at 5 a.m. because it gave me somewhere to go besides sitting alone thinking. The routine helped. Wake up, gym, work, home, repeat. Around month 3, I tried dating. Met a woman named Courtney through work. We went on a few dates until she asked about my family. I gave her the short version, and she got that look people get when they think you're the problem. "Well, family is important. Maybe you should reach out." That was our last date. I realized most people don't get it. They hear family estrangement and assume you're unreasonable. So I stopped mentioning it. The first Christmas was brutal. Stayed in my apartment, ordered Chinese food, fell asleep on the couch around 9 p.m. feeling empty. The second year was easier. I'd made friends by then. A guy named Ben from my gym invited me to his family's Christmas. I went, felt like an imposter, but at least I wasn't alone. By year 3, the pain had dulled to a background ache. I'd go weeks without thinking about my family. Year 4, I bought a house. Nothing huge, just a small 2-bedroom Craftsman, but it was mine. Started volunteering at a community center teaching basic electrical skills to people trying to learn trades. One of them, a 19-year-old named Jordan, reminded me of myself. I started mentoring him properly. He ended up becoming one of my best friends. Year 5, I met someone serious. Nicole, a teacher. We dated for a year and a half. When I told her the full story, she just nodded. You know it's okay to still be hurt about it, right? It was 8 years ago. So, some wounds take time. We broke up eventually, because she wanted marriage and kids, and I wasn't ready. We stayed friends though. Year 6, I started my own consulting business. By year 7, I was making enough that the Portland firm offered me a partnership track position. Regular hours, great money. I took it, bought a nice watch, celebrated alone at a fancy dinner. Felt proud, also lonely as hell, but mostly proud. Year 8 started like any other. Then, 2 weeks before Christmas, everything changed. The texts started coming in, numbers I didn't recognize, messages from people whose names I barely remembered, all variations of the same thing. 8 years. And then, out of nowhere, 2 weeks ago, my phone starts blowing up. Texts from numbers I didn't recognize, voicemails from family members I'd blocked years ago. Everyone suddenly desperate to reach me. The messages were all variations of the same thing. Hey Jake, it's been so long. We should catch up. Family's getting together for Christmas. Would love to see you there. No acknowledgement of the 8 years of silence. No apology for taking Ethan's side. Just casual, hey, let's catch up messages like nothing had happened. I ignored them all, but they kept coming. More insistent each day. Finally, one night at 11 p.m., my phone rang from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Jake? It was Mom. Her voice sounded older, tired. How did you get this number? Your cousin Danielle gave it to me. Please don't hang up. I stayed silent. We're having Christmas dinner this year. The whole family. We'd really love for you to come. Why? Because you're family. We miss you. You've had 8 years to miss me. Why now? People change, Jake. We realize now that maybe we were too hard on you back then. We'd like to make amends. Too hard on me? You forced me to choose between accepting betrayal and being disowned. I chose being disowned. What exactly has changed? We're older now, wiser. We realize family is important. Life is short. We want you there for Christmas. Something in her tone felt off. Too practiced. Too casual for someone who hadn't spoken to their son in 8 years. Is Ethan going to be there? Pause. Yes, of course. It's a family dinner. Then I'm not interested. Jake, please. We're trying to extend an olive branch here. An olive branch would have been reaching out years ago. An olive branch would have been acknowledging what Ethan did was wrong. This isn't an olive branch. This is something else. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm not stupid. You don't ignore someone for 8 years and then suddenly want them at Christmas unless you need something. So what is it? We don't need anything. We just want our son back. No, you want something. And when I figure out what it is, I'll decide whether to care. I hung up, blocked the number. The next day, more calls, more texts. Everyone in the family suddenly remembering I existed. My Aunt Janet left a voicemail saying she'd always regretted not standing up for me, and would I please give them another chance. My Uncle Ron sent a text saying he'd been thinking about me and realized how wrong they'd all been. My cousin Danielle called saying the family wasn't the same without me. All of it felt fake, rehearsed, like they'd all gotten together and decided who would say what to get me to show up. I called the one family member I'd stayed in touch with over the years. My cousin Riley, who'd moved to Seattle right after the whole mess went down, and had always thought the family's reaction was insane. Riley, what's going on? With what? The family. They're all suddenly trying to get me to come to Christmas. Long pause. Oh, yeah. I was wondering when they'd get around to calling you. You know something. Jake, I don't want to get involved. Riley, what's happening? Another pause. Then a sigh. Ethan's sick. My stomach dropped. Sick how? Kidney disease. He needs a transplant. They've been on the donor list for 8 months, but nothing's come up. And apparently none of the immediate family is a match. Everything suddenly made sense. The sudden reunion attempts. The "we've changed" speeches. The desperate phone calls. They didn't want me back. They wanted my kidney. They're really trying to get me to come to Christmas so they can ask me to donate a kidney? Not ask, ambush. They're planning to have everyone there to pressure you. Make you feel guilty about saying no. Classic family manipulation, but with medical stakes this time. I sat down. Are you serious? Dead serious. Mom told me the whole plan last week. They figured if they got you there in person, surrounded by family, you wouldn't be able to say no. Say, have they considered that maybe I don't want to give a kidney to the brother who betrayed me and the family who chose his side? They've considered that you're family, and family helps family. Their words, not mine. Even after 8 years of silence. Especially after 8 years of silence. They're desperate, Jake. Ethan's getting worse. They're pulling out every manipulation tactic they know. I thanked Riley and hung up. Sat there in my apartment, the same apartment I'd built my new life in, processing the fact that my family hadn't actually changed at all. They'd just found a new reason to need me. The texts continued, each one more desperate than the last. From Mom, "Please, Jake, we're a family. Families stick together." From Dad, "Whatever happened in the past, we can move forward. Your brother needs you." From Ethan himself, "I know I messed up 8 years ago. I was young and stupid. I've grown since then. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me." Not a single one of them mentioned the kidney. They were all dancing around it, waiting to spring the trap once I showed up. I thought about it for days, genuinely considered whether I could forgive what happened, whether 8 years was long enough to let go of the betrayal. But every time I started to soften, I remembered sitting on my couch that night, listening to my dad tell me to get over it. Remembered my grandmother telling me to give Ethan and Amanda my blessing. Remembered every single family member who'd chosen his comfort over acknowledging my pain. And now, they wanted my kidney. Yesterday, I got a call from a number with my hometown area code. I answered. "Jake, it's Ethan." His voice sounded weaker than I remembered. Tired. "What do you want?" I wanted to call personally, to apologize for what happened 8 years ago. I was wrong. I betrayed you in the worst possible way. I spent years trying to justify it to myself, but the truth is, I was selfish and I hurt you and I'm sorry. It sounded genuine. For a second, I almost believed him. "Did the family write that speech for you?" "What? No, I mean it." "Is this about the kidney?" Silence. Then, "How did you—" "It doesn't matter how I know. Is this about the kidney? I need your help, Jake. I'm dying. The doctors say without a transplant, I have maybe a year, maybe less. I know I don't deserve your help. I know I treated you terribly, but I'm begging you. Please." So 8 years ago, when I needed my family to acknowledge that what you did was wrong, where were you? I know I messed up. If I could go back and change things, but you can't. You made your choice. The family made their choice. Now I'm making mine. So you're going to let me die because of something that happened 8 years ago? No. I'm going to live my life because 8 years ago, my family showed me exactly how much I meant to them. This isn't about revenge, Ethan. This is about self-preservation. Please, Jake. I'm your brother. Your twin. We were born together. And you destroyed that relationship when you slept with my girlfriend for 6 months and then let the family vilify me for being upset about it. You didn't just betray me once. You betrayed me repeatedly, and then you let everyone make me the bad guy for not accepting it. I was 23. I was stupid. You were old enough to know better. And every single day for 6 months, you woke up and chose to keep lying to me. That wasn't a mistake. That was a choice. So that's it? You're going to let me die? I'm not letting you do anything. You're dealing with the consequences of a medical condition that has nothing to do with me, just like I dealt with the consequences of your betrayal alone, without any family support. The family wants to make amends. We all do. If you come to Christmas, let me guess, everyone will be there. You'll make a big speech about family forgiveness. Then someone will mention the kidney situation. And suddenly, everyone will be looking at me like I'm the one hurting you. Classic manipulation. It's not manipulation, it's family. Family doesn't abandon someone for 8 years and then suddenly remember they exist when they need an organ. That's not family, that's opportunism. So you're just going to let our entire relationship end like this? Our relationship ended 8 years ago when you made your choices and the family made theirs. This is just me declining to resurrect it for medical convenience. I hung up. Blocked the number. Today, the texts have gotten more aggressive. Dad saying I'll regret this for the rest of my life. Mom saying she doesn't recognize the person I've become. Aunts and uncles saying I'm being cruel. The funny thing is, they're still not acknowledging what happened 8 years ago. Still not admitting they were wrong to take Ethan's side. They're just mad that I'm not doing what they want now. This morning, I got an email from my grandmother. The same grandmother who told me to give Ethan and Amanda my blessing. Jacob, I'm writing this because your stubbornness has gone too far. Your brother is dying. Dying. And you're letting him die because of pride. I raised your father better than this. I expected more from you. If you have any love left in your heart for this family, you'll do the right thing. Come to Christmas. Save your brother. Stop being selfish. I read it 3 times. Each time getting angrier. The right thing. After 8 years of them doing the wrong thing. I wrote back, Grandma, 8 years ago I came to you, and the rest of the family after discovering the person I trusted most in the world had betrayed me for 6 months. Instead of acknowledging that betrayal, You told me to give them my blessing. You told me I was being a spoiled brat. You told me to grow up. The entire family forced me to choose between accepting betrayal or being disowned. I chose being disowned because I have self-respect. Now, after 8 years of silence, you want me to give Ethan an organ? You want me to undergo major surgery, risk my health, and give part of my body to someone who destroyed my trust and the family who validated his actions? And you call that the right thing? The right thing would have been standing up for me 8 years ago. The right thing would have been acknowledging that what Ethan did was wrong. The right thing would have been treating me like I mattered. You didn't do any of those things. So don't lecture me about doing the right thing now. You lost that privilege when you chose Ethan's comfort over basic human decency. Do not contact me again. Hit send. Blocked her email. Hit send. Blocked her email. The next morning I got a letter. An actual physical letter, forwarded from my old address to my current one, through some cousin who apparently had been tracking me. It was from my dad. Jake, I'm writing this because I don't know what else to do. Your mother cries every night thinking about you. Your brother is dying. I know we handled things badly 8 years ago. I know we should have listened to you. I know we were wrong. But can't we move past that now? Can't we be a family again when it matters most? Ethan has maybe 6 months left without a transplant. 6 months. We've tested everyone. Nobody's a match except potentially you. You're his identical twin. The doctors say you're his best hope. Please, son. I'm begging you. Come home. Save your brother. We can work through everything else after. Just please don't let him die when you could save him. We'll do anything you want. Apologize publicly. Acknowledge we were wrong. Whatever it takes. Just please help him. I read it sitting at my kitchen table with my morning coffee. Read it 3 times, looking for the acknowledgement I'd needed 8 years ago. And you know what I found? Nothing sincere. Just desperation disguised as contrition. We know we were wrong isn't an apology. It's a transaction. They were willing to say the words I wanted to hear, not because they meant them, but because they needed something from me. I wrote back, mailed an actual letter because email felt too easy. Dad, you say you know you were wrong, but you don't actually say what you were wrong about. You don't acknowledge that Ethan betrayed me. You don't acknowledge that the family sided with him. You don't acknowledge that I was forced to choose between my self-respect and my family, and you made that choice necessary. You just say, we handled things badly, like you forgot to call me on my birthday or something. What you did was disown me for refusing to accept betrayal. You chose Ethan's comfort over basic decency. Every single family member backed him up. For 8 years, not one of you reached out. Not on holidays, not on my birthday, not when I bought my first house, not when I got promoted, not ever. And now you want me to undergo major surgery, risk my health, and give an organ to the person who destroyed my ability to trust anyone? Because family? The same family that showed me I meant nothing to them? You say you'll do anything I want. Here's what I want. I want those 8 years back. I want my 20s back. The years I spent rebuilding myself from nothing, while you all moved on like I never existed. I want the support I should have had when I needed it. I want a family that would have stood up for me instead of against me. Can you give me any of that? No, because you can't undo the past. You can only live with the consequences. Just like I had to live with the consequences of standing up for myself. I've built a good life here. I have people who care about me, not because we share DNA, but because they actually value me as a person. I have friends who would never ask me to tolerate betrayal for the sake of keeping peace. I have a life I'm proud of, and I'm not giving that up to rescue people who threw me away the moment I stopped being convenient. Ethan made his choices. You all made your choices. Now I'm making mine. Don't contact me again. Jake, mailed it. Felt like closing a chapter that should have closed years ago. That was 4 days ago. Since then, the messages have gotten increasingly unhinged. My Aunt Karen showed up at my workplace yesterday. Actually showed up. Security called me down to the lobby because there was a woman claiming to be my family and refusing to leave until she spoke with me. I found her in the lobby, looking older than I remembered, holding her purse like a shield. Jake, thank God. They wouldn't let me up to see you. Because I work here. This is inappropriate. I drove 6 hours to see you. Please, just 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I walked outside with her. We stood in the parking lot. Cold December air between us. Your brother is dying. I'm aware. How can you be so cold? This is Ethan, your twin. You grew up together. You were best friends. We stopped being best friends when he spent 6 months sleeping with my girlfriend and lying to my face about it. That was 8 years ago. People change. Ethan's a different person now. He's married, he has kids, He's a good father. Good for him. None of that changes what he did or how the family responded. What do you want from us? We've apologized. We've admitted we were wrong. What more can we do? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you're just going to let your brother die? How will you live with yourself? The same way I've lived with myself for the past 8 years. By remembering that his consequences aren't my responsibility. You're being cruel. This isn't the Jake I knew. The Jake you knew would have given in by now. Would have accepted the guilt trip, donated the kidney, and then spent another decade being the family doormat. That Jake doesn't exist anymore. You all killed him 8 years ago when you chose Ethan over basic human decency. It's not about choosing sides. It was always about choosing sides. And you chose. Now live with it. I walked back into my building. She stood in the parking lot crying. I felt nothing. No guilt, no sadness, just this exhausting frustration that they still couldn't understand why I wouldn't help them. My boss caught me in the hallway. Everything okay? Security said there was a situation. Family thing. It's handled. The same family from... Yeah, don't worry about it. He nodded. Didn't push. That's the thing about the life I've built in Portland. People respect boundaries here. They don't assume family access means unlimited forgiveness. That night, Ethan called again. Different number. I answered because I wanted to finally say what I needed to say. Jake, please, no, stop. I'm going to talk, you're going to listen. 8 years ago, you betrayed me in the worst possible way. Not just by sleeping with Amanda, but by doing it for 6 months. That wasn't a mistake. That was a choice you made every single day. Every time you woke up, every time you saw me, every time you sat across from me at family dinners, knowing what you were doing. That was deliberate. And when I found out and was devastated, instead of owning what you did, you made excuses. You said it just happened. You acted like you were the victim of uncontrollable feelings, instead of a person who made calculated choices to hurt me. But even worse than that, you let the family make me the villain. You stood there while they pressured me to forgive you, while they threatened to disown me, while they told me I was being dramatic and immature and selfish. You could have told them to stop. You could have said, Jake has every right to be hurt, and we need to respect that. But you didn't. You let them bully me into silence because it was easier for you. Because as long as they were focused on fixing me, nobody was looking at what you'd done. So no, I'm not giving you my kidney. Not because I want you to die. Not because I'm holding a grudge. But because you taught me that I can't trust you or anyone in that family to care about me when it's inconvenient. And donating an organ requires trust. It requires believing that the person you're helping would do the same for you. And we both know you wouldn't. If the situation was reversed, if I was the one dying and you were the match, you wouldn't even consider it. You'd make some excuse about your wife and kids needing you, about how you couldn't risk your health, and the family would support that decision. They'd tell me I was being selfish for even asking. But because I'm the one with the organ you need, suddenly I'm required to sacrifice my health and well-being for the greater good? That's not family. That's convenience. So I'm saying no. You'll have to find another solution. But I'm done being the family's backup plan for when things get tough. Silence on the other end. Then, I hope you can live with yourself when I'm dead. I'm living with myself just fine right now. Good luck, Ethan. I hung up, blocked the number, turned off my phone completely, sat in my living room in the house I bought with money I earned through my own hard work, looked around at the life I'd built without any help from the people who were supposed to support me, and I felt okay. Actually okay. This morning I got a Facebook message from Amanda. First time hearing from her in 8 years. Jake, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I know I'm probably the last person who should be reaching out, but Ethan's dying and he needs your help. I know what we did was wrong. I've regretted it every day for 8 years. I've wanted to reach out so many times to apologize, but I figured you wouldn't want to hear from me. But now it's life or death. Can we please talk? Just the two of us? No family pressure, no guilt trips. I just want to explain some things, and maybe you'll understand why this is so important. Please? I stared at that message for a long time. Thought about responding. Thought about hearing her side of things. Wondered if maybe, possibly, there was something I was missing. Some piece of information that would make all of this make sense. Then I remembered sitting in that diner with Lucas, listening to his apology, actually believing he'd changed. Remembered the casino charge that came through an hour later. Remembered that people like this don't change. They just learn new ways to manipulate. I deleted the message, blocked her account, went to the gym, lifted weights until my arms shook, came home and made dinner. Normal Thursday night routine, because that's what tonight was going to be. Normal. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.